Today on Outside the Box Reviews, we are going to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Fantastic Four by taking a look at Hasbro's Marvel Universe Flame On Human Torch figure. This was released early on in the Marvel Universe line, hence having really not much articulation and no base. It has been recently re-released, and I've been looking for it for quite a while. It's reports of it been popping up from around the country in Targets. I finally searched a bunch of them today. They just finished the restock for fall. A lot of people were saying they found new Marvel figures. I found a wave that's like 2 waves previous, the Apocalypse and Cable wave. And I was really bummed that I wasn't going to find this guy. And finally I went to another Target a little out of the way, and there were 2 of these guys on the shelf. I'd be very happy to get my hands on them, and very fitting, seeing as today, the day I've gotten this figure, is the actual anniversary of the first Fantastic Four comic. So before we take a look at the Human Torch, we're going to take a look at his card files. I do this pretty quickly, since I am not a packaging guy, and really this is more packaging than it is figure. And get this guy opened up. Unlike the review spot, I do not have a fancy name for my knife. And what you get inside is the Shield Fury Files ID card. I've heard from a lot of people these don't work worth a crap. Throw that aside. Top secret file, blah blah blah, lots of words and stuff. I don't feel like reading this. Who cares? This is kinda nice. I like these a little bit. I kinda wish they would have kept just this part. Mostly because I think they make nice little posters, or you get the cover art. It makes a nice little backdrop or something to put behind the character. Has a little bit of details on the character itself, which is good, especially if you pick up a figure and you don't know anything about them. Here's just some specs right there. But you know what? This is what we're here for. So let's get this out of the way and let's look at the figure. And what a figure it is. It's an older Marvel Universe. It's not as refined as the new ones. But I have to say the translucency on it is awesome. Granted, if you want something that looks more like the comic Human Torch, you probably want to go with the Secret Wars 2-pack. I believe he comes with Wolverine. And as far as I know, it's the same figure, but he's actually painted to look like he does in the comic. He's kind of orange with yellow and I think even some black marks on him to look like fire. And I'm a sucker for the translucency. It's really cool looking. Though I don't know how easy it's going to be to review this guy on camera, seeing that the camera doesn't like to focus on translucent things. We're going to try anyway. Detail is not really heavily present in this figure. The face is really generic. They use the white to kind of give him some action lines and dot out the eyes and the mouth. The hair is coming up like it's on fire. I feel like they should have done this more like the Ghost Rider figure and had it a little more wild and crazy. But it's kind of two-dimensional here, but it does work. A little flatter in the back. The body is darkest here at the center, most likely to hide where all the joints are coming in. And then it gets down to an orangey in the upper limbs, down to a very, very pale yellow at the tips, which is a really cool color scheme. Now, as I said, in the comics, you're not really going to see through the Human Torch. But of a lot of the translucent variants they've done, I think this is the coolest. Articulation-wise, he has a ball-jointed head. You get a full 360 turnaround, a little bit up and down, not a whole lot. I was kind of hoping you'd have a lot more, like the new modern joints. You could probably get him looking up and have him in a flying pose. He has the ball joint at the torso, which will also let you swivel side to side. Shoulders can do the full 360 and go out. Rotate at the upper arm, bend at the elbow. This is using the old body they used to have for these things, so instead of a wrist rotation, it's almost like a glove rotation. You can go in and out at the leg. These old figures really suffer for not having that cut joint up here. Double jointed at the knee, and you could bend at the ankle. I almost forgot to talk about his accessory. His little bit of flame here. It doesn't really clip on in a way that I can find that looks very good. You can see the clip there. It's kind of at an angle. If it was 90 degrees to the fire, you could kind of put it on his hand and make it look like he was shooting it. But that's about the best we can get. So his hand's stretching out this way, the fire is going off at an angle. I don't think that's necessarily the best look. And you can just put it on him, like down here or something, and he could just be on fire. But if you're going to do that, it would also be nice to have one for the other side. You can, however, kind of clip it into his hand. Let me see if I can get it the way I had it before. You can clip it into his hand like this, and it does kind of look cool. Looks like he's shooting the flame out a little bit. And that's probably how I'll have him displayed. I feel like I've been spoiled by the new Marvel Universe figures, because this is a very nice figure, very cool, but the age of it in the Marvel Universe spectrum means it's lacking a couple things that really just make me not like it quite as much as I want to. The sculpt is decent. It's not up to the standard that they're getting out now. The articulation is okay, but it would be so much nicer if they would have redone this with the modern style of articulation they're doing right now, with more joints and more ability to move things. The weapon could have been a little nicer, and I would have really liked the display base with them. And what I'm thinking about now is that there's a couple Iron Man accessories I think would go really well with this figure, especially since Iron Man figures are hitting clearance. So here's my brainstorm. There is the one comic series Iron Man figure where he has the boost, the blast-off base. I think if you got that, you could put it under him, and it would look decent. Obviously, he has yellow feet going into the solid red base of that one. I think it's just a red translucent plastic. But it would give him kind of a nice effect like he was flying. And then the Mark I comic-style armor Iron Man they have, where he has a fire blast that actually goes over his hand. That would probably look a little nicer than this thing. Now, having said all that, I think he's definitely worth picking up. We're getting a Fantastic Four 4-pack later this year. I think it's actually out online and probably going to be in stores pretty soon. That is the rest of the Fantastic Four, minus the Human Torch. They have a robot that I guess was in the cartoon or something, because they couldn't put the Human Torch in it for whatever reason. Not sure the details on that one, but it has a robot instead of the Human Torch. But that said, you'll get the Mr. Fantastic, the Invisible Woman, and the Thing. Granted, you may already have the Thing, because he was sold single-carded as well as a comic pack. I think Mr. Fantastic came in a comic pack as well. But still, if you have not picked up the Fantastic Four, this is a great time to complete your set. And come on, you want the Human Torch that's on fire for your set, right? I mean, you gotta have it. So in that case, I'm gonna recommend him. Not the strongest of recommendations on this figure, but definitely recommend him. If you find him, if you're lucky enough, you might have to search a couple targets like I did, but you can find him, pick him up, take him home, and don't burn yourself. This has been another Outside the Box review. Stay tuned for more to come. See you guys later.